Yeah, you know what time it is. It's time for the Geek End Er S podcast. MegaRan, Jesse and Dodger, what up? Let's go. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow and see what the Geekenders are all about. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow. #1 geek podcast, without a doubt. Yo, another end of another long week. Got a job and a kid, I know that you all beat. So take a second, grab a drink and vibe while we catch you up in just a matter of time. On gaming, comics, whatever you're doing. If you're nerdy like us, then you know you should tune in. Thank you for sharing our world with us. Now follow, subscribe, and turn this up. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, scream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow. #1 geek podcast, without a doubt.
You know,
Hello.
there was a brief moment where I thought we were going to do this professionally, and out of all the things that went wrong today, this would be the time that we come together and really show that we have what it takes to do production of this level.
Right.
And,
I'm sorry, Chef.
Well, we failed that, so that's
Yeah.
Where do we go from here?
we introduced Criken. Hello, welcome to Geekenders.
Hello,
Welcome,
Dodger and
welcome.
Jesse. It's lovely to be here again. Thank you so much for having me on Geekenders, the best way to start off your weekend if you're a geek, or it's the end
Of the week.
of the
Geek.
week.
Of
Oh, yeah.
The week, sure.
Oh, it makes sense now. I
Yeah,
see it.
it's all coming together a little bit. What is happening over there right now? Is this a annual Criken goes to harass, I assume, farm animals trip?
He comes
Rats farm.
to visit and stays with us for a few days, about once a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the yearly. Although you're being kind of a globetrotter right now.
Yeah.
You're going
yeah.
all over the place.
I was in Poland, and then I'm also maybe going to Sweden and Netherlands and Switzerland. So I've been hopping around, but
Okay.
yeah, I've been trying to travel more.
Can I ask, is this I've had a few of these moments where someone was like, hey, do you want to come check out a game in X country? And I'm like, okay, but then I have to justify why the hell I would go overseas for one game for like 2 days. And so I'm like, I'll travel.
Exactly, Jesse.
Okay, all right, we're on the
So
same page.
I was flown out by 11-bit to see the altars in Poland, and then they're like, all right, we'll schedule your flight for like the next day. And then I was like, what if you scheduled it for 3 weeks later? And we're like, okay.
Sure.
And so
buddy.
I've just been kind of traveling around Europe and
Awesome.
trying to be a little bit of a digital nomad, which has been fun. So
Yeah, I get it. That is, I've done that before. It is a solid way to just be like, life gave me this. I'm going for it. So yeah, good, very cool. Why did you decide to ruin your fun by going to visit Dodger and Sam?
well,
I want. Hold on.
okay.
Just to lay the groundwork here. Jesse has never visited us.
Yeah,
Oh,
I know who I am. And I know that a farm is not a place for a man of my caliber and distinction.
yes.
All of my smoking jackets would get dirty. I simply couldn't.
So fair. You don't want a little chicken wandering around pooping on the ground, and you just don't know when it's gonna happen.
No.
That's been us the last few days.
Yeah.
Yeah, but today specifically, the issue that we had is it's gotten very warm here, and I think the door to my office has swollen, and it's got this weird, like, convoluted old lock on it where you have to press a bunch of buttons in the right order. And I was pressing the buttons, going, it doesn't feel like anything's activating in there, and the door would not open. So we did. I feel like we tried everything we could.
Short from busting it.
Breaking the door, yeah. So
I did not know that you had layers of security on. I thought it was just a door, and you guys couldn't figure out how to get a door open. And I was like,
No, it's the lock. The lock is doing its job too well, maybe. So that's the issue. Because our office doors are outside. They're not like part of the main house. So
okay.
So yeah, they're secure. They've got locks. They've got locks on them. Real ass locks.
Now, do you have
And
to
mine
go
likes to
through
break.
chicken poop to get to it? Is that like the minefield?
Yeah, that is part of it. You have to go through the chicken coop in order to get to the office door.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the first time I visited here, I did cover like my new shoes in, I think it was pig poop at the time.
Yeah.
And there's still like a little stain on them. And every time I see it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's when I touched grass that one time.
Yeah, it like reminds you of us,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
The shit stain reminds me of you guys.
Yeah, the pigs are a lot bigger now.
Yeah,
The
oh,
poops are way bigger.
I've not gone. Yeah, I've avoided that.
Mm-hmm. My favorite part
You love
of
it
that
out here,
entire
Jesse. Come on
thing-
out.
My favorite part of the entire thing was the poops are bigger.
They are.
They are.
The pigs are bigger.
Yeah.
Life goes on. The poops get bigger. Yeah.
It stands to reason.
Nah, grass is for suckers. I went to the Dodgers game for my birthday.
I saw.
So sunburned. Just so like thank God for a hat. My face is fine. But my arms, they hurt.
Oh no. Can we see?
Oh, not now. It's fine now.
Oh, it's fixed.
Yeah. I put that like went full aloe. It was
Aloe.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the 2 days afterwards, my arms were so red they hurt. I don't know if this is like a natural response to your body being like, we must defeat the burn, but my arms felt like anyone who's ever lifted anything ever, like if you go to the gym or you just had to carry a bunch of boxes for moving or whatever, that sort of day after, we were like, oh, what the hell? Big time. But I did nothing. And I think it was just my arms being like, we gotta fix this, dude. Work extra hard. My arms, it felt like I'd been lifting boxes all day. It was crazy. And I don't know why. I assume the body. But
The body.
yeah.
The body do weird stuff. Yeah.
I'm good now though, so I guess it worked. Shout out to the body. Shout out to the body.
Shout out to the body.
Shout out to the body.
I want to admit this now because I feel like if we're gonna shout out to the body, I should do a real shout out. One time, I'm not gonna say where, how, or why. Let's say Jesse, a friend of mine. We'll call him Jay Cox, a friend of mine.
Okay.
Might have gotten extremely high. You know, my friend, he was crazy that
Hypothetically.
night. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this friend of mine might have had the realization and then started feeling terrible that he never once thanked his white blood cells for looking out for him.
Aww.
And then he sat there and was like, no one ever says thank you. They do so much work. And I think about that all the time, bro. I'm like, thanks, little buddies. You're doing it. You're really in there keeping me going. And I love you for that. And none of you thank them. No one thanks their blood cells. They're doing
So
work.
true.
Yeah.
That actually reminds me of a recent memory I just had. So I went to visit my 92-year-old grandmother in Switzerland, and it was really nice to spend some time with her because I don't get to see her that often. But at one point, she started like kind of cradling her arm in like a kind of a unique way, and I was like, "Oh, are you okay?" And she's like, "Yeah, like it hurts sometimes, but I found that if you give your arm a hug, it tells the cells that they're okay and they feel loved and they start repairing faster." And she went on to like explain, you know, different ways she does this. Like when I hold my finger, I cradle it like this, and then it starts to feel better. And it's like the most
So cute.
authentic
very
and genuine. Yeah, she's the best. So
That's very adorable.
yeah, I managed to record it too. So I got a little reminder. I sent it to because I asked, my dad's also been having some wrist pain, and she was like, "Oh, tell him to hug his wrist. It'll heal his cells faster." And so I sent that over to him.
I'm hoping that I can, you know, find some sort of cheat code or something, being like, "Hey guys, hey cells, you're doing great. Like, keep it up, keep
Yeah.
the good work." Because no one ever talks to them, but they're us, dude. They're us. By the way, I'm not high right now. I'm just saying, as I say this, I realize
just-
it probably sounds that way. Yeah.
Sinking back to a past hypothetical Jesse. Yeah.
Another Jay Cox, whoever that guy
Different
was.
Jesse.
Yeah.
Different guy.
What I'm saying is, no one ever says thank you, and they're doing all the work. You're actively working against them, and so I'm just saying, next time, thank yourselves.
Maybe that's why we kiss boo-boos.
Yeah. I think it's the same energy. I appreciate that you do that early on in your life, and then when you get to the age of 92, like you come to appreciate your body again. You're like, you know what? I'm still here because you guys are working really hard. Thank you so much, and you like give yourself a little pat on the back.
Aw. There's an anime called Cells at Work.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Where it's all of the different like cells in your body, but anthropomorphized as like hot anime people.
Yeah.
Right. No, I saw that before when it was called Osmosis Jones.
Oh my god! Wait,
Gross.
can I admit I was obsessed with that movie?
Really? The movie or the show?
The movie.
Okay, the one with what was it? Bill Murray?
Yeah.
Gross Bill Murray.
Bro, the scene when his pimple explodes and it lands on a lady's mouth.
So gross.
Oh, I would skip that part. But
Wait, so you watch it over and over again, and you're like,
this guy always skipped that part. It's very similar to how my brother always skipped the ballroom scene of Labyrinth because he thought that was gross, but for a totally different reason. Because it was all romance, and he didn't want cooties,
Yeah, I get that.
Well, yeah, you can get those from Labyrinth. Everyone knows.
You can.
Labyrinth spreads cooties. It's one of the highest cootie spreaders.
From the Masquerade, that's Cootie Central, dude.
Yeah, that's just
with the
fact.
Goblin King.
Oh, Goblin King, pure cooties.
Pure cootie. He makes cooties. Yeah.
What do they do in the Masquerade? They just dance, right?
They just dance.
It's just like,
It's when she is it before or after she goes to the dump, right? And then she's like falling through the sky, and then oh my god, she gets put to sleep. Hoggle puts her to sleep. Hoggle betrays her, and she goes to sleep, and she has a weird like fever dream about dancing with the Goblin King at a masquerade.
Oh right, yeah, because it was just a dream. It didn't actually happen.
It was a dream. But my brother hated it. He was like, this slows down the whole fucking movie.
There's no way she would be yearning for the Goblin King. He's the bad guy.
He's the bad guy. Yeah. Anyways.
If anything, we have learned since that that's really who most people yearn for. Shout out to the bad guy. You're doing great.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Tumblr sexy men. You just keep trekking, guys.
There is... It's not a Tumblr thing, but it's definitely in the same realm. Over on Reddit, anytime anyone asks, where is this image from? I'm trying to think of what the Reddit's called, but it's one of those ones where it's like, I don't either get the joke or I don't know what this image is. And 99.9% of the time, it's just porn. And what's so funny is the comments are literally people being like, it's porn again. Like people are so fed up. They're just like, we don't do anything else now except try to identify porn for you guys. And honestly, it's just, this sucks. Why are we doing this?
Over it.
It's one of my favorite Reddit things because people are just like,
that's so funny.
I watched one thing that has me. There was a video and people are like, what is this from? And it is straight up a guy and a girl in a bedroom. And the girl like pulls out a lightsaber. And then he pulls out a lightsaber and they start fighting. But then he like gives her a kiss while they're fighting. And people are like, what is this from? And they're like, it's a porn. It's a porn. I need to know what goes on in that. I'm like, hold on. This porn went
I
from
have
plot.
a good guess what goes on. I feel like I could probably fill you in on what goes on.
Here's
more
the thing.
lightsabers come out.
Time out. Hold on.
Yeah.
You might think, oh, are they dressed up like characters from Star Wars? No, they're just like dudes in sweatpants and like it's just people in t-shirts. I was like, so what is? It's the first time I needed to understand the plot because I like, hold on, why are there active lightsabers? Why are they battling? Who are these people? I have questions now. Honestly, no answers.
I do think Star Wars could be improved if in every choreographed duel there was a quick kiss and then they go back to fighting. It never elaborates. They never develop it into anything. It's just a quick huh.
Really changed the energy of the movie.
Darth
Yeah.
Maul.
But it's one of those kisses where it's like they both hate each other, but then one of them kisses them while they're battling, and then the other one's like, "Hold up, you're trying to get my head, or do you mean that?" And then there's like a mental battle.
Their foreheads touch. They're glaring at each other, and one of them just like kisses the other's nose. And they're like, what the f- is that?
Yeah, like what's that about? Are you trying to get my head, or are we in love? Yeah, I could see that.
Do we need to DTR before we kill each other? Like, what is this?
Yeah, except it's like some guy like named Darth Murder, and then a Jedi named like Fist Manaroo, and then they both and they like have
Not
to.
the direction I thought you were gonna go with that.
Well, I mean those are their names, and
that may have been the porn. Actually.
They should kiss.
and like one kisses the other one, and
Fist Manaroo. Come on, man.
Fist Manaroo. That's Fist Manaroo.
Oh,
is an incredible Jedi. He is one of Kit Fisto is a real character, and that's pretty
Kit
close.
Fisto is a real character. That's true.
So, Fist Manaroo.
Stop making everything dirty. God.
I'm so sorry. You're right.
Anyway, boy, oh boy. Did you guys get a chance to do anything this week? Exciting or fun in the world of games or movies or books or life, I guess, maybe? Animals? Ugh, animals.
Animals. Well, there's a lot of animals on the farm.
There are.
It's true.
That's true.
I've heard that on a farm. There are several animals.
You did some Helldivers.
Yeah.
A couple days ago.
Played some Helldivers.
How's the new update stuff? I saw a video online got posted of what happens if Super Earth falls, and I was like, oh.
Wait, what? They like teased that?
No, some dude hacked files, and even though it has no sound, it's a video that plays that's like Super Earth has fallen, and I was like, yo, what? So
they have a scenario for that. That's
yeah,
cool.
I thought that was pretty cute.
I thought they would shut down the game if that happened. How hardcore would that be if like just poof and it's like we failed as a team. Or at least for like a month. Like, it becomes like it goes dark for a while and then they have to
I don't know what happens if that occurs. You know what I mean? Is it like we have to go retake it, or how do they? I have no clue. But have you played any of the new stuff? I haven't played since they introduced the third faction that they were hyping up for a long time. That was from the original Helldivers.
The third faction's full invasion. And so they added a couple new trooper like types that show up, including this like strafing run ship, like squid ship that comes in and like fires directly in like a line in front of you. And it has some of the most cinematic like moments where you have to dodge out of the way while shooting down this ship, and it like spirals right over you and crashes. It's like really cool stuff. So that's been great. I also went to a pirate themed birthday party last weekend. So it was actually on an old pirate ship, like a recreation of a pirate ship. Everyone was in costume. That was like such a core moment for me because I love pirates. And there's like a historian on board too that got to like explain to everyone like actually how things happened on the ship and like why things were the way they were. And I had I knew it was like obviously romanticized, but by God, things were terrible for them.
Yeah.
It was so much worse than I had any idea of. Like they had like kids reloading the cannons because the deck was so short. The only ones that could get in and out fast enough are like actual children. So
God.
Yeah, it was terrible. Very bad time to be alive.
What pirate theme wise, was it just everyone dress up like pirates and get on a pirate boat, or was it like yar, we must make ye pirate food and shoot ye cannons at vessels of British monarchy, eh? Like what was going on? Boy, that was a stretch. What's going on? Like what'd you do actually?
Well, it was mostly a party of drinking. But I would say as the night went on and more drinks were had, the pirate voices came out more. So I think it got more to the latter of those two, especially for me. I mean, maybe I'm just speaking from personal experience, but I definitely talked more like a pirate by the end of it than I was at the beginning.
Alcohol helps with that, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There was also, it was kind of funny. I took some pictures. There's like in the bottom deck, like the cargo hold, it's like super authentic. And then there's like a happy birthday with like Party City, like, string on the top of the deck. And there's like a little like star, tablecloth with like chips and, like biscuits on it, and it just was so out of place in the middle of this pirate ship. So it was a lovely kind of mixture of like, tongue in cheek, like, hey, happy birthday, but also like authentic
Pirate.
everything around.
Somewhere in my mind, all I can hear is a bunch of like I can see the cast of Pirates of the Caribbean and them just be like, aye, we shall help ourselves to this bounty of nachos.
Yeah.
Come,
I mean, there were
get
there were,
ye Sprite, mate.
Okay. There was like a whole time in like advertising, I feel like, where there were so many ads that were just like authentic pirate or something, be like, you be wanting some of my Lucky Charms, don't you, matey? And it's like, I missed that time, like the authentic like smoke and like backlighting on like the actor pulling up this like like cereal box and everything. Yeah, so dramatic.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. There was a whole series of ads. I think it might have been Fruit Loops. Someone was trying to get someone's cereal, and it definitely was a pirate.
Oh,
but I think it came
Lucky
out around
Charms.
the same time as Hook.
Oh,
When that was like a whole craze, like everyone was like,
Another
pirates are cool
great
again.
movie.
Yeah.
yeah, that is a great movie. Yeah,
Mhm.
pirates were always cool.
I mean, except for when they really
except
existed.
for when they were real.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
I learned that. Yeah. Like, okay.
You learned that from the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So quick example in like in Sea of Thieves, when you're like turning up the anchor where it's dropped, it takes like 7 seconds if you have 3 people on the turning thing, and like maybe like 12 seconds if you have 1. In real life, it took 3 people 2.5 hours to get the anchor up from the bottom of the seafloor, and they had to sing like sea shanties started from trying to keep everyone in rhythm while they're turning this wheel around.
To bring up the anchor? That's crazy.
It's just everything was so much longer and boring and like more laborious.
I mean, what else are you gonna do though? Like for real, you're a pirate. What else you got? What else you got going on? Honestly, I'd rather be that guy than the guy who has to like scrub the deck. Like that's a crap job. I don't want to be the deck scrubber.
Much rather scrub the deck.
Then just walk in a circle for 2 hours.
Pushing a thing? Yeah, no, thank you.
You
For
blow
2 hours,
out your
push a
knees
thing?
scrum on the deck, but if you're pushing, you got your upper body strength working. Plus, it's probably a better position, and you get better gruel and or rum.
Now, I also couldn't stand up to my height within that place with the push thing. It was like I had to be hunched over. So the entire time, you're like this through everything. It was.
Well, that's why
It
my
would be the
pirate
right
crew.
size for it then.
Yeah, my pirate crew would be 5 feet and under.
Children.
Littlest.
Kids.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'd have
Yeah.
a whole pirate crew of children. And so, like, can you imagine you're sailing the seas and you're, like a Spanish guy and you got a bunch of, I don't know, gold and you're sailing and life is good. And then you hear like, avast, matey, we're gonna come take ye booty. And then a bunch of kids swing over. Oh crap! You wouldn't know what to do. You'd be dead before you
You're
figure
like,
it out.
I don't want to shoot them. They're a kid, and then they'll stab you in the gut. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they're my little. I call them my bastards. I'm like, chummy bastards, right? And then they're like, sure thing. Oh yeah, they call me Captain Papa. Like Captain Papa. And I'm like, come on, children, let's go rob these fools. I
like that you're basically just the pirate version of Fagin from Oliver Twist.
I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean by this. You mean take care of children and
give them purpose.
Yeah, give them help them when no one else would.
Steal them from the loving arms of a nice warm bed and good
Save
food.
them from a life of mediocrity, I think you mean.
Oh, teach them trade skills.
Yeah. They'll know how to walk in a circle, pull up anchors. That's useful.
Yeah.
It takes 2 hours to do that, I've heard. So having like a bunch of those little bastards doing it,
Probably
my
3.5 if it's kids. It's gonna
Yeah.
take a little bit.
You can fit more in there because they're smaller, so they'll be faster.
Oh, yeah, more like.
Yeah. Plus, my
cogs in the
crew
wheel.
will be huge because for each grown adult, you need so much space. But 2 kids, you can cram them in one space. So my crew, while everyone else got like 20, 30 guys, I got like 60, 70. And they just,
Whoa.
yeah. Yeah. And I won't have to have all the rum because they're children.
Yeah, they can't drink.
Right.
It's all for me.
Yeah. But then what I'd do is I'd fill the rum
What the
barrels
hell?
with
No,
oranges.
wait a minute. Coal mining kids got to drink beer.
Yeah, well,
You're
that's
saying
because they were in a
you're
coal
worse
mine.
than a coal mine?
No, because
You're
coal
worse than
mines
a
are
coal mine.
the
That's
worst.
crazy.
You got to be drunk to go in there. Yeah, no, I get that. The sea, though, I don't want them drunk because they'll be trying to like sleep with manatees or whatever the hell pirates did.
What the hell are you talking about? The drunk kids are gonna try to sleep with manatees.
Puberty's a hell of a thing.
No, you know what? Just let him keep talking.
Okay, all right,
yeah,
all right,
just
all right.
let him keep talking. He can dig the hole and we'll just sit here.
Okay.
What? I'm just saying. Eventually, we got to phase them out. When they hit like 11 years, my pirate children 8 to 11. That's it. Once we hit 11, I gotta battle puberty. No, you walk the plank. Sharks can have you. But we don't tell anyone that. We just say they were bad kids.
Yeah, they're conveniently not looking when they.
Wait, so you just chuck them overboard in the middle of the night?
Yeah. They're children. What are they gonna do? Fight back? Come on. I'm so much bigger. I just toss them over.
You literally have trained, what was it, 67 children to just gut slice anybody?
No, but it's the shock factor. It's the shock factor, though. See, I'm playing mind games, but the children, they respect me. So when I approach them and I'm like, "Aye, child, come with me to the edge of the ship. I have to talk to you about your future." And he'll be like,
"Yes, Papa."
Yeah, yes, Captain Papa.
I'm ready. Yes.
Yeah. And I'll just boop right in the ocean, and then we'll just keep going. And I'll be like, I don't know where he went. Could be that when you're 11, you're taken by Davy Jones to be part of his crew. And everyone will be like, "Wow, Captain Papa."
Does that mean you're 11, Captain Papa?
Permanently 11 years old, children.
All right, this is literally the plot of Peter Pan. You guys realize it's just like redone Peter Pan.
Yeah, really have no new ideas. I'm just over here stealing from literature. But if it worked there, it should work for me.
It didn't work there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else happen with you two goobers this week?
Oh my goodness. I played a game. I want to make sure that I have the subtitle right, but Sam and I played it just yesterday. It's called Lynked Banner of the Spark. And it was so fun. We were sponsored, full disclosure. I'm biased, they paid me, but you can play it by yourself or you can play it co-op, but it kind of tackles the same sort of thing that Cult of the Lamb does, where it's a balance of you go out on missions, but you have a home base that's more like, you're trying to like build an area, a home, a hub for people to live in. The setting is an AI has taken over the world and is trying to assimilate everybody and everything that it can. You're one of like the few humans that's left that hasn't been killed, and you're trying to rescue bots that haven't been assimilated into this evil AI yet and give them like a place, like a hub where they can sort of rebuild and help fight back. It's really fun. It's actually like super cute. I love all of the little robot characters. When you go out on missions, you can either just go by yourself and then bring like some of the robots that you've saved with you. All of the robots that don't have like set jobs in the town will have their own fighting styles. And so you can like choose who you'd like to bring, and it like improves your relationship with them, and thus their fighting style improves and things. And and once you're like in a mission, the combat actually feels really nice. It's a little bit dungeon crawly roguelike-y, where you start with a weapon. They give you like the basic version of all of the possible weapons, so you choose which one you want to go in with at the start, and then as you like open chests, you can find better and better weapons. You get to upgrade your weapon in a variety of ways at the end of each like stage of the dungeon, so to speak. And at the end, you either get items or you find robots that need to be saved or whatever, side mission, everything. But we had a blast. We had like a really good time with this game. It was nice to see a game that did something similar to what Cult of the Lamb does.
I was going to say, it has like a Cult of the Lamb vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, or it's like you come back to nobody's shitting everywhere. Bonus.
Big. Because they're
Huge,
robots.
They're robots.
massive. Yeah.
No one's pooping. You go on a mission, they're fine. No one's died, no one's pooped. It's great. You just come back and everything's fine. So if you hated that part of Cult of the Lamb, have I got news for you?
No poops.
No poops, dude. Zero poops. Yeah, and you get to make your little character at the start, and it's, you know, one of the robots that you save pretty early on is like a tailor, and you could get like cute clothes and whatever, you know, like it's fun. It's cute. I liked it a lot.
Speaking of, if you haven't gone back recently and played some of the updates to Cult of the Lamb, they added so much stuff. Like a lot of different things have been added to it that kind of change up how the game plays. So just give them a little shout out as well.
I haven't played it since they added the goat. Since they added the co-op. You did the co-op, didn't you, Jesse?
Yeah. I played co-op locally on PlayStation. So I don't know how it handles you know, through online or when we each have it on our own screen. But one of the things that I think I didn't like about the co-op version is if you and I are doing something, let's say I'm harvesting wood, right? But then you want to go make food. You go to the food screen, you take over the full screen, you operate everything, and then when it comes back to the normal overview map, I'm not harvesting wood anymore. I have stopped. So it's like players override each other when you're doing it in co-op locally. I have no idea if that's the case, if it's two different screens.
I assume it wouldn't be. I assume it would be more like Don't Starve.
No.
Or, you know, something where you just only see yourself.
But other than that, it is very fun. Like once you get out of the town, I'm about to call it a city, but clearly it's a town. Once you leave the cult and you go out into the world and you run around, it plays like any other game that would have two players beating up crap. It's fun. It's good stuff. They added all sorts of. There's like a tailor. There's you know, you can get corrupt now because of the update where your animals can bang.
Slurp people's sin.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff in there, and also a lot more achievements, which I will never. Playing it on console was a bad call. Playing games on Steam, I'm not worried about achievements. I don't care. The minute I touch a console, suddenly I'm like, oh god, it's right there. All I have to do is defeat every boss without getting hit. I could do that. No, I can't. No, I can't. That's a lie. Why even try?
Yeah.
Never gonna happen. So that kind of stuff. But there's a lot of cool stuff there. So if you haven't picked that up in a while, you can do that as well. Anything else in the world of Criken and Doogs?
What else did I play, dude? Oh, I finally did Mr. Rabbit's Magic Show. I wasn't expecting it to be Rusty Lake Little to the Left.
Okay, sure, yeah.
That's sort of how it felt. Yeah, I can't remember exactly what you've said about this game, Jesse.
I don't think I said much because I didn't want to spoil it for you. Yeah,
it's the newest Rusty Lake game, and it came with a little video, like previous ones have. It's an anniversary game and video. So the actual like Mr. Rabbit's Magic Show, the longer that it went on, I was like, this feels so much like a weird version of A Little to the Left, which for anybody who hasn't played A Little to the Left is kind of like here's a screen with something, you know, like a bunch of cards. What should you do with the cards to move on? And you go, okay, I guess I'll put them in order, and it goes ding, and then moves you on to the next like thing to do, right?
Right.
So yeah, when I was playing the beginning of the game, I was like, oh, feels like I'm playing A Little to the Left, but with really weird characters.
And then it switches up. It becomes Rusty Lake very quickly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's very clearly a like game made for fun for the anniversary, and it really is more of a promotional tool for Rusty Lake as a like a concept. Because it's like, hey, usually there's secret stuff in these games. And the secret this time was literally just a trailer for the next real Rusty Lake game. And I was like, okay, all right, I'm excited.
I'm new to this franchise. What is Rusty? What is he like?
Have you never played any of the Rusty Lake games? Oh my gosh, I think you'd really like them.
Yeah.
They're all pretty short. They all take place in the same universe and are connected. and they're just really strange point and click puzzle games.
Oh, okay.
For the most part, they all stem from these Cube Escape games that were mobile games. I don't remember if they were free on mobile devices, but they were definitely free when they came out on PC for
They were on
Steam.
Newgrounds originally, weren't they?
Maybe. It feels very
I think
Newgrounds.
they were free originally.
Yeah, it definitely has a vibe to it. But
are they like the first games I ever played were like Pajama Sam, Freddy Fish, like Spy Fox, like the point and click humongous entertainment games.
They're like they feel very Flash game.
Okay.
And yeah, they're like escape room games. The original ones are just like you're in this situation, what do you need to do? And you just click on everything and figure out like what it wants you to do. But specifically the Rusty Lake games are very like strange, whimsical, like
whimsy and strange.
Yeah, it's like the characters and the way they talk and the way that things are drawn feels very like it's meant to make you feel kind of off kilter,
Okay. Cool.
But they're so fun. They're really cool.
Yeah, to give you an example, like the very first game, which almost feels like what were they thinking? What is this premise? How does this work? But the very first one that was a Rusty Lake game was Rusty Lake Hotel. And the premise is this, it's simple. You're a person who goes to the hotel and you meet all the guests, which are animals, but they're animals. And every night you go to one of their rooms and you kind of escape the room, but really your objective is to kill the animal and serve them as food to all the other guests.
Oh,
so
shit.
In each room, you have to find different things to make the food taste better. So like in one room, it's like, okay, well, I need to get, this ingredient and this ingredient to serve best with quail. And then you go to the chef and he's like, all right. And then the next scene is everyone's eating the guest. And it's like, what the hell is this game? This is so weird. And from that point on, none of the other games have animal people. However, they do have animal masks. And it makes you wonder very quickly what the hell was going on in the first game. And it's that kind of thing.
Were those actually people or
Yeah.
And so from that point on, it just gets crazier and crazier to the point where there's a movie they made that if you want the Rusty Lake experience without playing Rusty Lake and you just want to know what it's like, go look up, oh man, I can't remember the name. It's Rusty Lake something. It's on YouTube and it's like a 20-minute video that is amazing. It not only is Lynchian as hell,
Paradox.
but it also
Paradox, a Rusty Lake film.
And it has hints, like, so a game came out, Rusty Lake Paradox, and in that, if you watch the video, there were clues on how to solve the game. They also have, I think the game The White Room had a whole website thing where you had to ARG in order to, it's so much fun. It's just like rabbit hole after rabbit hole, and it clearly means something, and there is an overarching story, and it's like, I don't know, like centuries long, and it's fascinating. But each game is out of order. It adds new things, and then you just have to be like, okay, so that person was that person. It's massive. I love it to death.
Cool. Yeah, I definitely
You'd
want
love
to try it
them.
out.
I think they would be on brand for
Is
you.
it live action? Is it like a
No, the movies are.
Okay.
The videos that they make are live action, but the actual games are like this really strange art style.
Cool.
Yeah, and it has a quality vibe to it that again feels very not like modern Newgrounds. I think a lot of modern Newgrounds tries to be like, we're very like good at this. It has the vibe of 2008 Newgrounds, where people were just, like the voices are kind of like, I've got to get out of here. Like that. And in any other setting, you'd be like, that's kind of jank. For some reason, because it's so weird and so not disturbing like, whoa, it's so gross, or like, but like disturbing is in it feels weird. Like inside when you play, you're like, what is happening right now? That's the kind of vibe. It has that Flash game aesthetic, and I love it. I love it.
Cool. Yeah, we'll definitely give it a shot. So last week I also tried the Alters, which I can talk about if you guys are interested.
Yeah, I have played a bunch of it. I love it.
Did you play the demo?
I played.
I've only played the demo.
Yeah, I played the demo and I played some of the other stuff they had, and so I'm very excited to see. I got to talk with Alex Jordan about doing all of the voices, like that kind of stuff. Yeah. I was like, that's pretty neat. I realized he's much better at American than I'm at British, and that hurt me a little bit. Because British
people tend to be better at doing American accents than vice versa.
He can do so many American accents, like a large number of American, and that's kind of the point of the game. Is it's just him flexing his American, and I'm like, how dare you? How dare you?
Yeah. I got to talk with him too, and it was fun to spend the weekend with him because, well, first of all, he loves to party. So every time we were at like a party, he was drinking and share. Like he was so happy to share all these anecdotes and histories, and he kept asking us which of the altars would we like our fuck list. He's like rank them by like the one you'd want to sleep with the most. And he was very insistent on getting that answer from everybody, which is crazy because they're all him. He's like, which one of my personalities are you most into? But yeah, he was great, and it's true. Like, because I got to play quite a bit, and hearing all the different variations of the alternate character, they all have so different like methods of speaking, and it really feels like you're talking to a different person, but they all stem and look like the same, protagonist, and. It's such an original concept for a game, so I'm really excited for that.
I'm excited to see where the game goes, like, because the walking around on the map bit is fascinating to me because I love how weird everything seems, and there's definitely a mystery there. And I like the bit of when you make a new version of you, the idea of who's the real one and having to tell someone they're a clone, and the conversation. I love that bit. The part that I'm like, okay, I'm not like a big builder guy. I never have been, never will be. And so I'm hoping I won't have to spend a lot of time like figuring out where to place the different, because you can move them around, and I don't want to spend my entire game micromanaging the way
the actual like ship management part of it.
Yes. I want to spend my time in their heads and on the ground like, what's that? What's that thing? And so I'm curious what the balance between that all is, because based on what I've played, they've really balanced it out. But again, that's demo stuff and they have control over it versus like, if you were to play an early version like Dodger was talking about earlier with Call to the Lamb, every version I played of that was not about poop. And then when I played the game, I was like, all I'm doing is pooping. It's just poop. Everything's poop.
Yeah. No, I think that's a fair question. From when I played, as you get more of them, because you can keep printing more altars as you get further in the game, each one of them you can assign to different tasks. And as you get more of them, the needs of all of them kind of increase as well, because you need to feed more of them. You need to like manage their, they'll have moments where it's like, one of them's like, I think we should get better food. And the other one's like, that's inefficient. We should have gruel every day. And it's like, you have to be like, you have to pick one or the other.
Right.
And whichever one you pick, the other one's going to get pissed. So, you have to like manage these, the tension between all of these different characters.
Oh my gosh. People pleasers.
Yeah,
Maybe it's going to be for you.
It's going to be challenging.
I think there's a line to walk though when it comes to the characters, because you can pick kind of who you want on the ship a little bit.
Right. And yeah, so, in each playthrough you can't have all of them. You have to pick some of them. So
you can kind of balance out who would interact with who, and maybe you need an engineer, but that engineer is going to be a total asshole when it comes to X, Y, and Z. So maybe you don't want him on this version of your game. I don't know. There's a lot of options, and so I love that kind of thing, but I also dread it because it means there's an option for complete failure, which I will find.
Oh, I found a couple. There's two different scenarios I found. One, if an altar of yours gets injured enough, they can die. And if some of them die, they're just out, and you have to have a little funeral for them. Everyone's like, man, this could have been avoided if someone was better at the game. Like, they're all pointing at you. They're like, you're doing a bad job. You're like, oh, my bad, guys.
That's really
and then you just go and print another one. And you're like, all right, this is a different guy. But there's also a fail state where if they're like really upset, they will go on a murder-suicide spree. And one of your altars will wipe the whole crew and then you, and it's a game over. And you have to like reload and find a way to get the mood up.
I guess that makes sense that could happen. But...
Yeah, it was very jarring. It was just like, oh, I guess like that guy was really bummed about the gruel thing. I guess he killed us all. Like, How Mickey 17 is that game? Yeah, it's. I mean, I think this is exploring the concept that was introduced or that people saw in Mickey 17. Obviously, this was in the works a lot longer, perpendicular to Mickey 17, so none of them came first, really. But I think this explores the concept of what it is to be a clone in a bit more of a personal way by making them an alternate version of you that you can actually trace how they're different based on their life trajectory.
Right.
And that it's pretty jarring. There's like some of the characters that are like they get printed and they're immediately like, all right, I understand what I am, I'm ready to get to work. And another one that's like, holy hell, why am I here? Like, put me back. Like, it's a really cool question on like identity and all these big philosophical questions. I think that they handle pretty well.
Yeah.
I would be curious to know, because Mickey 17 is based off of a novella called Mickey 7, I believe. And novellas are short. So I think we were talking before about how Mickey 17 didn't explore that concept as much as expected, but maybe that's because the novella was, not a full-length film sort of a thing. But potentially somebody read Mickey 7 and was like, wait, I can do this better, or like
a game gives you more
explore.
Time. Yeah, you can really get into the nitty-gritty. Like if you play the demo, which both of you have, the whole idea of going through the timeline, you're not reliving the life. You're literally at the base DNA level being like, in this person's story, they stood up to their father. And then that one change causes a snowball. Now, obviously, I don't know how, it's a video game. I don't know how that concept would work in real life, because I'm like, they didn't actually live that. But I guess if it's a memory you can implant, that's a whole other game, which is awesome. But just the idea of surviving on the planet, and there's some sort of weird, look, I don't want to Coxstradamus this again.
Right.
But when you get on that, I just based off of the maybe hour and a half I've played, I'm not saying that if you look at all the art, no one has the number 1. And I'm not saying that there's dead bodies already on the planet. And I'm not saying this is like, you've definitely done this before and this is just another retreading on the same. I'm not saying that. But when that turns out to be true, and I've absolutely nailed that this is like, actually, the main guy is already a clone. Come back to me. Let me know I was absolutely correct and make my ego feel good.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of questions that I had as well in that same vein. They leave a lot, up to interpretation and kind of ambiguous that definitely seems like it'll get tackled later as you and your alters gain more like of a rapport and a better sense of like where they are in this world. They also deal with like alternate realities in a really interesting way where I won't give away like which ones or anything, but one of your alters has a moment where in their lifespan they invented something, or there was an invention that became possible based on something that they did earlier in their life, as in they were a professor and they taught a student, which then invented a certain technology. And in your reality, because your character was never a professor, that student never learned that, therefore didn't have the same job trajectory, therefore this technology doesn't exist. And it becomes oh no, he's like assuming that we can beat this puzzle because there's this technology exists, but in your reality it doesn't. And it's like,
I see,
these kind of hypothetical
that's cool
butterfly effect. Yeah, they play with that kind of concept a lot. There's another like a more personal one where one of your characters is still married to your ex-wife, and he's like, I miss my wife, and the entire time he's like, I gotta get back to her. And it's like, well, in this reality your wife is my ex-wife, so it's like this really awkward, like, how do we handle this? And yeah, you can imagine how that's hard to manage when you're trying to keep everyone alive on
I mean, it's little things too, like just associating with the characters. Like maybe 4 of your alters love the same beer as you, and you can talk about that. But there's the one guy who had a different life path. He's like, I only do wine. I don't beers for suckers. And you're like, son of a bitch. And it is what it is. You have to learn about yourself again, which is fascinating.
Yeah. there's a part that goes on about like music taste, and that's interesting, right? Imagining like how the taste of, you know, maybe you all started with like the same band you liked, but then based on your life trajectory, they wildly change, and they have like arguments over like, you know,
because music is so like injected into culture, isn't it?
Yeah.
So however your life progresses, you get exposed to different things. Yeah.
That's, I mean,
it's a cool concept.
It looks very cool. Again, like we were talking about last week with Firebreak, like conceptually, huge fan, ready to see it. When it releases, how many, like, I don't want to say like what legs will it have, but you know, like how long can the concept that I'm interested in keep me playing is, I think, my big thing with Alters is I'm like, yo, this looks cool as hell, but will the micromanaging make me lose my mind? I don't know. I have no clue.
Mm-hmm.
I'll find out.
This is a Cult of the Lamb situation for you.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm really interested in this part of the gameplay, but this other part of the gameplay that's definitely important, I might get fed up with.
And I will absolutely die on every hill of that. Like a great example is Pacific Drive. Conceptually, that game is right up my alley. I love everything about it. Gameplay wise, it was fix your car simulator. And I was like, I hate this. I hate fixing. I don't care about fixing my car. I want to go explore the woods. There's weird shit out there. No, I got to fix my car. And I'm like, oh my God, I hate that. I just want to do the thing that was promised to me. I don't want to spend all my time like, well, I got to shield up the car because things are going to attack it. Like, yeah, well, I just want to see what those things were because this was going to be a weird experience of driving through the woods and it was going to be creepy. And it's like, sorry, build your thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just want to be weirded out. I don't want to, I'm not a big, like Sam, I'm not a big, let's build a town and then make our own fun guy. I'm like, no, game, you make fun for me. Me no make fun. You make fun.
You show me fun.
Yeah. That's what I paid for. You show me fun.
I feel
we shall see. I played a fun little game that I think is very Dodger coded. And it is gonna be released later this year. Fingers crossed, I think. It's called Malys. It is by Summerfall, the team that did Stray Gods, and David Gator from Dragon Age Origins fame. Basically, it is a game that is, imagine you're playing Constantine. You're a priest, and you are going around exorcising demons, and you have it's a card game where you get various cards that are like compel and exercise and also in the way it works is it's a roguelite where you are moving similar. You know how in Call to the Lamb you'd go from like little circle to little circle to little circle?
Yeah.
Same vibe, except you're in a city.
Slay the Spire-ish.
Yes. And you move between story beats. So it's like you've returned to the city, an angel approaches you and is like, hey man, we need your help with this thing. There's this demon. And you're like, all right, angel, sure. And the angel's like, all right, peace, dude. And you go off on this adventure that is very, like the idea is both dark and yet super cool. The demons are kind of like metaphors-ish. So a great example is the very first thing I played was, okay, you approach this, like you're at a bar and the bartender is behind the bar and he's looking weird and he's polishing the same cup over and over and over again. And as you're at the bar, everyone around you starts to freeze and the bartender's eyes are white all of a sudden. And you're like, oh, damn, he's possessed. And so you have to go battle the bartender. But what you're really doing is in phase 1 of the battle, of the card battle, is you have to discover the demon's name. And so there's a bunch of sigils and you have to do enough damage to the demon in the 4 turns you have, at least in this version of the game, 4 turns you have before he like activates. And so once you discover the demon's name, the next phase happens. And this time you're fighting the demon. And in this case, it was like this weird headless thing that like its head was dangling down from its neck. Like it's creepy looking. And so you have to defeat the demon. Well, once you defeat the demon, the next stage occurs, which is the demon now is sucking the life force from the person that it's possessing. So you have to both keep the person alive and kill the demon. And if you fail to keep the person alive, that's probably not good. So you have to do this like pretty fun battle mechanic. And then when you're done doing the card battle, you get another card, obviously, and then you continue on. The next one I did was like, you're at a hotel and something's weird. You hear like scratching. You're like, what the hell? And you look around, you can't find anything, but you know there's a demon here. But it sounds like, oh, it's coming from the bed. So you pull back the mattress, but there's nothing under it. And you're like, okay. So you rip open the wood paneling of the bed, and there's like a person in there starving to death. And they're like, please help me. And the demon's like, no, bitch. And so you have to fight the demon. It's that kind of thing. And so each story that you discover as you go through it is like, very well written horror. And then you card game over the horror. And there's 3 phases, and the screen and the mute, like as you play and it gets more intense, the music starts to get crazy. The VO, the dialogue, they're just like screaming, like trying, like, get out of there, fucking demon. Like it's awesome. It's so cool. I have no idea what. Cool. Yeah, I don't know what the full game loop is, but I know there's a loop in that. Whatever the demon is, that's like the big bad. Clearly, if you die, you start over. So there's some sort of time loop involved and a meta progression of every time you play through it, be it, you meet, there's a homeless woman you can meet.
That looks so sick.
The art's super cool.
Yeah. There's a homeless woman you can meet, and she'll be like, oh, hey, will you go get me some bread? And I thought this was a really funny scene because you go to the store and you see there's only 1 loaf of bread and it's kind of moldy, and you're like, I'll get her canned food instead. And you come back out and you bring her food, and she's like, I wanted the bread. And you're like, fine. So you go back in, you get her the bread, and then she's like, I need to feed my children. And you're like, okay. So you bring her the bread, and she's like, okay. She opens it up, and you're like, are you sure your kids can eat that? She's like, my kids can eat anything. And then she starts feeding pigeons, and you're like, okay, cool. But by interacting with her, if you keep interacting with her over and over and over again in the loops, she'll eventually start giving you cards and stuff. And then you can meet different characters that will buff you. You can meet a priest, and then what will happen is the priest will give you his card, which means in combat you can summon the priest. So whenever you attack, the priest will do an extra damage for you. And I'm like, that's fun. So there's definitely a lot going on, but it's very clearly still in, at least the build I played, which was like alpha. There's a lot of stuff that was just tooltips or things that had no tooltips. And I was like, what does this do? And so there's that kind of, but you can also, get weird buffs. Like you can have Wrath, which will make your damage higher, but you can also accidentally cast Wrath. I'm not sure how I know this. I wouldn't have done this. You can accidentally put Wrath on an enemy and then they have it. So now they attack you for more. And that probably wasn't smart. But whoever did that would have been a fool to have done that. Yeah, very cool stuff. Excited to see the final product whenever it eventually comes out later this year at some point.
It's been a good year for games already. It's been so good. I'm kind of really relieved that Grand Theft Auto was delayed a year because I don't know how I'm gonna have time to play that with everything else that's going on.
Yeah.
I also have spent. I'm not sure exactly what I can say, so I won't get too specifics. But I will say that I have some Magic the Gathering cards of a Final Fantasy nature. And
Did you open them?
Oh yeah, I'm no fool. I opened a bunch. We made a video to put out on the 30th, I guess, is when people can actually start talking about the cards that aren't released yet. There's a whole bunch of cards that already exist that people can look at. But there's so many that are not released. I must stress this to everyone who thinks the cards they've shown already are the majority of the cards. False. There are so many cards that just... This is all I'll say. I haven't played Magic in a serious way in decades. The last time I played was back when I was in high school. So that's we're talking 20 plus years. But with that said, absolutely love the new Final Fantasy collection. I'm collecting all these. This is just happening. The art rocks. It's so good. Some of the art is some of the best they've ever done. And I don't know who the teams are that have been assigned to do the art, but whoever picked the who does what, or whoever was in charge of deciding what teams or what artists worked on what, clearly understood the assignment, because every game specific related art piece has like little Easter eggs in it or little things that fans would be like, there's so much cool stuff. And then just the flavor text. I'm sure people have seen the Nero artwork that exists. Sorry, not Nero, Xenos. Different Imperial Front Fantasy board. But like, they made a commander card for Xenos, and literally it's the perfect version of that character where he essentially, you pick a person, and when that person loses, you win.
Perfect.
And it's great. Yeah, it's straight. It's just like his whole purpose is he found his friend, and his whole goal is to kill that person. And if he does, you win. And that's it. And I was like, that's so funny. That is absolutely perfect. They have so many beautiful cards. The art is amazing. I will say the funniest thing I saw though, and I said this, I realized that I don't know if I have the mind of a pervert, but the heart of a saint. Or the heart of a pervert and the mind of a saint.
Where is he going
Either
with
way.
this?
Don't know.
So, while going through the cards, I discovered a Lulu card. Final Fantasy X, Mother of Belts, big fan. But in my mind, just the way I remember her as a character, all the cleavage, all the time, it's just permanently seared up here for reasons, a young man will never forget. And it's just up here. So, when I looked at the cards while I'm opening the cards, I see a Lulu card, and I'm like, this art is amazing. However, they made her little puffy chest thing huge. There's not an ounce of boobage to be seen. And I made a joke about it. I was like, well, obviously not my Lulu. And that was the joke.
Oh, no.
I go to the internet. Some dude has posted on Reddit, like, look what they did to my girl. This is trash. So instead, I made 100-some magic cards online, but they're dirty cards. And I was like, internet, you fools.
Yeah.
So that's for some reason, I knew it was going to happen.
Goodness.
And here we are. Yeah. Guy was like, I made better versions of these cards. Lulu's half naked in this one. And I'm like, okay. All right. Sure.
It's like
internet.
the Lola Bunny. I guess the Lola Bunny video. Lola Bunny. I love that so much. My love.
But I will say that good luck to everyone who wants to collect those cards.
They are so expensive already.
They're so expensive. They're almost all sold out, if not sold out. And the vast majority of the cards that I've gone through, it reminded me of why Magic was such a costly thing back in the day. It's like, well, not only is there the normal version, there's the wide art version, there's the full card version, there's the foil version, there's the like Ripley whatever foil version. There's like, I'm just like, come on now. I can't. What do you expect? I can't do this. Yeah, Surge foil. That's the one. There's Surge foil, and then there's also Chocobos. And there's one that's like the super ultra mega rare, only 77 gold Chocobos produced.
Wow.
Right.
And so that's the one that's going to be
rarity.
Yeah. I'm curious to see what obviously these aren't like I'm doing it for a value thing. This is, I like these cards and I want more. Yeah. There's 16 different SIDs. There are,
Of course.
The Final Fantasy VII date scene. There's a version of that for each potential date. So there's like,
oh my god,
there's a Cloud and Tifa version. It's the same card, but the art's different. And there's a Cloud and Tifa, a Cloud and Yuffie, a Cloud and Barrett. Yeah, so there's one of every Sid from every single game. But it's the same Sid card. It's just there's one of every
same card.
Yeah, it's insane to me, but also I get what they're doing. Some of the cards, man, they're cool. And so I'm definitely interested to see what I get. I have a whole bunch of stuff I haven't opened yet. If you want to see the madness, that right there is me trying to put stuff in a folder, and I have all these cards just sitting there, and I'm like, the folder's not big enough. I don't have room. That thing holds 900, and it's like with the different versions. Y'all, I screwed up. This was a fool's errand. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm in too deep. And the worst part is I bought a bunch of cards and then they were like, hey, do you want us to send you cards? And I was like, hell yeah. Now I have too many I have too many cards. I'm in too deep. The amount of I think I can say this because they already existed, but like there's a token card. It's this one token card, and it's like a bird. It's just a chocobo image, but it says bird. Yeah. I might have 82,000 of those cards. It's ludicrous, the amount of those. Just wild. But yeah, I'm gonna, whenever I'm allowed to, I'll start doing pack openings on stream because I have so many packs. And I'm no fool. I watched Crendor open all sorts of packs on stream. That's the winner. You gotta do it all on stream. That's so, yeah.
Yeah.
I've never learned how to play Magic yet, but everyone in my life is obsessed with it now and have been slowly encroaching and convincing me. And so, Jesse, I don't know if you're going to Summer Games Fest
I am
this year, but so they have a booth there, and they invited me and a bunch of other people, but I got an invite to meet their team, and they have a specific session for people that don't know how to play Magic where they're going to teach you.
Yep.
Oh,
and
shit.
so I'm like, if I'm going to learn, I might as well go and learn from like the team itself.
Yes.
So I might try that. I might finally take the plunge, but
yes.
We'll see.
Shout out to my man Jeff, who I meet every year at Games Fest. He is my dude. Every year we sit down and we play the new Magic thing. Like last time it was Assassin's Creed, I think. And the time before that was Lord of the Rings. And we just sit down and play. It's so much fun. I understand what I'm doing. He understands. And we just sit there and like shoot the shit. And I'm sure it's one of those like, yeah, let's have a conversation about this. But this time I'm curious just because it's all Final Fantasy stuff. I really want to see what they're promoting as like, this is how you should play. Because each deck, each build has its own vibe, right? Like when Assassin's Creed was a thing, the two decks they had to play was one was you played as Ezio, and everything was this free running mechanic, which was basically you can keep playing cards over and over again. The idea of like you're running and jumping and stabbing, right?
Yeah.
But then the other deck was, I think, Eivor, and it was all items and weapons. And I was like, okay, interesting. So that's what you're playing against each other. A great example is the Lord of the Rings one. It was the good guy card set was all about like, we have to get the sword of Isildur and that kind of stuff. And then when he played as the orcs, it was just, I got 50 orcs and I'm sending them all at you. And I kind of liked being the guy who was just spamming. And so this, because it's so many different Final Fantasies. So a great example is like I'm trying to figure out what the decks are. They give you some that are okay, here's the the Cloud deck and the Sephiroth deck. Or here's the Terra deck, here's the Yuna deck, right? But there's so many other cards that there's there are If this is just an estimate based on me trying to figure this out, but it feels like the games that are popular got the most cards, you know what I mean? And so there's some games where it's like, we got like 7 cards. Now, obviously I haven't found them all, but I'm curious how you build, like the Final Fantasy 14 ones are like a lot of weapons. And it's like, okay, so you're making a hero and then you're equipping, like I want to learn more about that stuff. Obviously, I don't have enough answers, and I'm not skilled in any way. For example, I was looking at the online database they have on stream last weekend, and they had a flashback mechanic, and I was like, "Oh, that's so cool!" Because like Terra has flashback, and like the whole point of that is she's flashing back to when she was mind controlled. It's like, "Oh, that's very good for the story." And I was like, "Is that new?" And everyone was like, "No, dude, they've had that for a while." I was like, well, that just shows you how little Magic I've played actually over the last few years. Because I was like, oh, what a new fun mechanic. And they're like, nah, dude, that's been around. So we'll see. I clearly don't know enough, but I'm like feeling the vibe again. They got me. And apparently they got a lot of other people because I guess it's like the highest selling release they've had ever.
Dang, yeah.
No, that explains why it's hard to find online. That's for sure. Yeah.
Do they ever do re-releases of like these special sets?
Nope.
Damn.
Yeah. So, and that's because I really had to stop myself from getting the Bloomburrow set which is just like little cute rabbits and mice with shields and shit. Like, just awesome stuff. But, yeah, I was like, no, don't do it. Don't do it, Jesse. Don't do it. And yet, here we are. And I guess, Secret Lab is making cards too that are going to be Final Fantasy based that'll come out. And then there's also cards that are only in Japan. Look, it's a fool's errand to think you're going to collect them all. You have to be an insanely rich person to think that's going to happen. So good luck to my Saudi princes. Anyway, that's pretty much what I did this week.
Nice.
Yeah.
The only other thing that I played is I'm still chugging along on Black Reliquary.
Ooh.
But I finally hit the point where I'm having to abandon a lot, and I realized I need to like pare back. It's hard because you once you have a bunch of level 3, for anybody who's never played Darkest Dungeon before, you level up your like mercenaries, and they can be a variety of different classes, and they can die in battle, and it's fine. They're meant to be seen as expendable. But I try to keep people alive as long as possible because you also have that XCOM element of like, the longer you can keep them alive, the more powerful they will get. But you wind up with all of these characters that hit level 3 and then they'll refuse to go on the beginning missions. So I currently have mostly level 3s, but I haven't gotten the funds. I've focused so much on like, okay, I'm going to try to, every time I go out, I'm going to try to have somebody, a bad quirk getting dealt with, or we're healing a disease, or, anybody who's stressed out, make sure that getting rid of their stress, right? So every time that I come back into town, I have the only people I need to deal with are the people that just came back, and everybody else is fine. But what's wound up happening now is the relics that you bring back that I need in order to give people better weapons, better skills, better armor, I've been spending on other things potentially. And so now I have all of these level 3, and when I'm like, okay, I'll go on a veteran mission, I'll go on a mission for like level 3s, and like, they've got the right weapon and they don't have the right armor, their skills are still level 1, but like, I'm sure they'll be fine. And I have to abandon every fucking time because it's just, you hit this hump. There's a hump where you've got all these level 3s and you're like, I can't take you anywhere. I can't take you anywhere. You're too soft. But they're egotistical now. And they're like, that mission's beneath me if you try to take them on a smaller mission. So it feeds into one of the like base hub mechanics is expanding your roster.
So you have to get new people, you have to keep doing it.
Yeah. So like expanding how many people are going to be there as like options to be hired, how many people you can just have on your basic rotation. And the reason that they let you keep upping that number is because eventually you do get to this point where it's like, okay, well, I still need people to go on the baby missions. I can't just have a bunch of level 3s. Like I need more babies. And you hit the point where maybe you're like, Dodger needs people for
baby missions.
Needs more babies. Okay, yeah, nice.
You said baby missions, but then at the same time you said, I just need more babies. And so I
need more babies.
Yeah.
My other issue currently is I don't have any beginner level healers. So I need to be sending people on beginning missions, but I don't have any healers. All of my healers have leveled up. And so one of the other things that you keep trying to do is be like, okay, well, I want you to give me a bigger variety of people when I come back into town so that I can specifically grab healers, but then maybe the one healer that they bring in has the fucking quirk in the world. And you're like, I could fix them, but do I want to? That costs money, right? It's a whole big balancing act. And it happens again once you need hard missions, but.
What is like the money-making strategy in that?
So there's a class called the Antiquarian. She specifically, you can put her in your group. How is Dodger getting babies any different than Jesse's pirate kids? Because I'm calling them babies as a goof, and you meant a ship of actual children.
Under the age of 12.
I'm calling them babies / affectionate, but they're adults.
I was being plenty affectionate.
Uh-huh.
But I meant what I said. I wasn't being superfluous with my words.
Right, sure.
Wow.
When I said children, I meant it. Babies? You're hiring mercenaries.
You make it sound like that's a benefit to you, that's a feather in your cap. It's not.
They're just so much
we're
easier
burning
to control.
feathers in real time.
Yeah.
Huh? So you can take antiquarians, and they basically every time you like rifle through stuff that could have, relics, treasures, whatever, you'll get more of those things. But the drawback is that she's not a particularly like strong fighter or anything. She takes up a slot with the benefit of getting funds. So yeah, and depending on how you feel about your mercenaries, maybe you just grab a bunch of dudes and you're like, I don't really give a shit if the comp is good. I'm just sending you in there to get some money and then maybe die. Once we're down to one person, I'll leave. So it you can treat them as extremely expendable if you want. At this point, I think we have 4 deaths. So doing okay, considering that it's meant to be like a really difficult mod.
Yeah,
4 deaths is all right. But I do want to get over this hump and hit the point where I can go on veteran missions and have heart palpitations. Like, who's gonna die this time? So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I was burnt out in those games when I got to like the mid to late game, because there would just be something so, like, if you were not built for that specific boss or that like encounter. Then it would just wreak havoc, and it's like, well, there goes my 30-hour like protagonist character, and it's like such a heartbreak.
I think that feeling of like rush is also impacted by streaming it. Because you're always like very aware of how much time you're taking to play through a game on stream. And so me having to say like, well, I guess I'm just gonna need to keep doing beginner missions for, despite having all these veteran characters, part of me that's like, and that's going to take so long to finally get the supplies I need to outfit veterans. But that's the game,
I think that's a good point that I think about a lot, is what is that point where the friction of the grind becomes too much that you don't want to stream it anymore? I think some people enjoy that sort of content, and there's some games that make it as like satisfying of a loop as possible. So
like a Kaizo Iron Man sort of.
Where it's like,
yes, we are doing this, and that's the game.
That's the point. But then there's like, oh, we're all here for that big mission that you're gearing up for. But then it's like a 4-hour stream to get ready for it, and then even then you're like, we should maybe do this next time. And then it's like, well, suddenly the expectations of everyone's like, you'll never really know what you're gonna get when you. So. At least that's the stuff that goes through my head. I don't know if that's the same.
I think every you know what? Screw it. I'll say it. Every good streamer definitely thinks about that all the time. You know what I mean?
Did he just say that?
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Only on Geekenders you're gonna get hot takes
like that. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
No, I think like anyone who cares about their content at any bit is thinking, all right, when is the point where I gotta stop doing this particular thing? And like playing through Expedition 33 is a great example of that, where there's some fights that, I could bash my head against the wall on this out of nowhere Dark Souls battle, or we could move on and I could come back to it. And even though there are definitely people in chat who are like, fight it, dude, you got this. I'm like, look, I definitely believe I got this, just not right now. Like, I will do it. I will come back and beat up this giant goofy-headed idiot. But if I miss a parry and I get one shot, I'm not ready right now to do this, because I'm not that great at parrying. And I know I'll miss a few. So if missing one equals death, and the guy I'm fighting, every time I miss a parry, gets to attack again, I'll come back. People are like, oh, no.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, it's as simple as like, well, look, there's stuff in the room, and I could loot that right now, or leave it empty, leave it there, so I remember to come back here, even if I don't need to fight the boss. At least I'll remember to do that. Everyone's like, you're missing the loot. I'm like, come, my sweet babies. Yeah. Like, it's okay. And I think, you have to make that balance between the two, or otherwise you're going to get caught up in some of the stupidest like 12 hours later, and I don't want to. I don't want to be that guy. I don't need people making live stream fails of me like, he's so bad at games, dude. He's terrible. Like, I feel that way already.
I don't mind spending quite a few hours on a boss that I am enjoying, where I know the mechanics are really good and it feels satisfying to just beat it. For me, it's more like I'm not a long distance streamer like Sam is, you know. I'm not pulling the same hours.
Right.
So when I'm playing a game, kind of like what we were talking about with like Blueprints or like Hollow Knight a couple weeks ago, I felt like I've gotten to the point now where I realize I have a limit to how much time I'm going to invest into this game, right? And it's okay to be upfront about a stopping point for me. For Hollow Knight, people kept asking, how much are you going to do? And I'm like, I'm going to stop once I've done, like, I have a little checklist in my mind.
Yeah.
I know I want to do the Grim Troop. I know I want to beat Radiance. And beyond that, once I'm done with those, I might just be done, you know? And with Blueprints, it was, I realized that you can get the credits and there's a bunch more to do after that. Once we hit the credits, if I want to be done, then I'm done. I think that's okay, you know, because I want to play other stuff too. So.
Yeah, I think it's about, if you want that information, if you want to see that scene, pick up the game yourself. It's not Dodger's job to show it to you. You know what I mean?
Or is it?
Oh, hold
Wait
on!
a minute.
Damn it! That was the screenshot. That was the episode screenshot. We could have used that for a thumb.
This one?
Oh yeah, that's the winner.
Okay.
And what a happy Criken face. Just happy to be here. I like that. That's good. That's a wiener. Yep. Perfect. Yep. Yeah. Well, is it time for some news, kids? Are we good?
Let's do news.
All right. Yeah. Well, boy, oh boy, let me tell you, right off the bat, in selfish news,
yes,
Xbox released a 10th anniversary Witcher 3 controller. It was gone so quickly that I didn't even have time to want it. I saw it and was like, oh, wow, cool. Instantly sold out. So shout out to everyone who got one of those. Like always, anytime I want to buy something I love, it's gone. So it makes life easier for me. I never have to worry about filling my house with useless trash because I can't get it. So awesome.
So true.
It makes life easy. In the world of movies, we'll start with the fact that Mission Impossible, the newest one, is out. I very much want to see it because I enjoy watching Tom Cruise be Tom Cruise on a screen for 2 hours. And kind of like Fast and Furious movies, they've only gotten better with time, I think, because people stopped giving a damn. And honestly, that's what I'm here for. Make your crazy film, Tom. You go nuts.
Yes, there's a point where it's like, we just want to make another one and nobody really knows what's going to happen in it, so we're just going to do whatever we want.
Yeah, and that's
like, enjoyable. I like that.
I will stand by this. I love the last Fast and Furious movie is insane. It is, if you look at it on the surface, insane. But Jason Momoa being over the top frat bro Joker for 2 hours was great. I loved that. I was like, this is fantastic. So more of that, please. Also in movies, for those of you who want to get real weird with it, Elden Ring, a movie is coming.
Oh yeah.
I forgot about that.
A24 tapped Ex Machina director Alex Garland to write and direct. For those who are curious, he also wrote and directed Annihilation, Men, and Civil War, along with writing 28 Days Later and Sunshine. So that's going to be super interesting. George R. R. Martin, once again, set to produce, which means those of you who want a Song of Ice and Fire book, good luck. That is never happening. It's done.
He's doing other shit now.
Yeah. I would lose my mind if it's like, it's here. I wouldn't believe it. I'd be like, no. False. And then also more news. From A24, I guess this is the first big test is Elden Ring. And then after that, potentially a Death Stranding movie with Kojima. Ooh. So that's probably a movie they could really do because everyone in it's like a real ass actor.
Is an actual actor, yeah.
And half the people in Death Stranding now are like, well, all right, most of them were already big, but like some of the stars who were kind of like, oh yeah, okay, are now big like Hollywood actors. So
yeah.
That could be very interesting to see how they do that. Is Elden Ring even filmable? Well, Great question. I imagine giving it to...
That's not our job. We don't need to figure that part out. That's their job.
I imagine giving it to Annihilation guy could work, though.
Yeah. I trust his approach.
Yeah. If you haven't seen,
they could also
just
film
that
it
movie,
in the game engine.
Yeah,
make it a machinima. That'd be cool.
That would be very cool. Yeah, if you haven't seen Annihilation, it is it's pretty eldritchy. It's pretty wild. And I feel like that's the vibe you could bring to it. Especially, if you're writing 28 Days Later and stuff. There's definitely all right, this feels like the right guy to tell this story. What that story will be, I don't know. Because I don't know how you do we're going to retell the story of I don't think that's possible. So what story do you tell from that world? Don't know.
I have a game for us.
Yeah.
If you really wanted to ruin the vibes of the Elden Ring, who would you cast in it? Chris.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Chris Pratt as the chosen one.
Yeah.
As Melania.
Oh no.
That'd be so funny.
Melania is Jack Black for sure.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Jack Black.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would it foul dance? Spread the rhyme.
I don't. Who is The Rock? The Rock has to be someone. I don't want to make him Radon.
Radon, yeah.
No, that's Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart is Radon.
You know what was a real big jump scare in the Dogman movie is Ricky Gervais voiced a character.
Really?
I think Ricky Gervais should be in Elden Ring.
Oh
As
my
a creature. Just his voice. I would just want his voice in there somewhere.
What is the name of the guy who screams in the DLC? What is his name? The guy during the fight, he screams the entire damn fight. He's like, "Curse you!" Aegon?
Aegon, they're saying. Yeah. Bale?
Yeah, he's like, "Curse you, Bale!" That guy, I want him to be Matt Berry, please.
Oh my God.
Very
Matt Berry in
Bale,
anything. I don't care what movie it is.
Yeah.
Just more Matt Berry, please.
I would love that. I would love to hear that
now
scream.
we're doing this. I like Matt Berry, though.
Yeah.
Right, but I'm just trying to think of great, that would be so,
People that should not be in it.
It's just him. Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, those are the ones we need that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. We could throw Tina Fey in there somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Who's the mushroom cap witch lady?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Rainey.
Yeah.
We need who is the Margot? I think should be Nick Cage. That would be amazing.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Margot Robbie. I was like,
no.
That's a funny way to say that.
Margot is Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie.
Yeah, Margot Robbie. Yeah, we got to get everyone in there. Who is Zendaya playing? Zendaya is playing.
Ooh, Matthew Lillard as Patches.
Yo, that's a win.
Fire.
I like that.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Zendaya obviously is the one girl you meet early on. I can't remember her name, but she's the one who's like, "Oh, I'm good friends with the guy who does all your blacksmithing needs."
Blacksmith.
Yeah, that girl.
Oh, yeah.
But then the blacksmith guy who's all ugly, Tom Holland.
Okay, and now,
but he's like sexy.
Now,
he's like super sexy, and that's and then the two
yeah.
of them together. Everyone's gonna go see it for the two of them. They'll be like, they're in love in the movie. Done.
And now to really bring it all together, we need the actor who was a one-hit wonder in a TV show a long time ago, and no one's seen them in anything since. And this is going to be their breakout. Oh my God, I haven't seen that guy in anything in so long.
I must stress, seeing Danny DeVito as Dung Eater is not cool. I don't like that at all. I don't want to even see what that looks like. I don't even want to know. Danny would go in 100%, and I hate that.
Oh yeah.
It would suck.
What's my job? Dung Eater? Done. Yeah. I got this.
Mm-hmm. So
the Skarsgårds are every character.
Every character is a Skarsgård.
A Skarsgård, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Also in the news, speaking of movies, the James Bond-esque intro to Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater in the remake Delta is now online. You can watch a whole video. It literally is a redone intro that looks just like a Bond film. It has the snakes doing the Bond snake thing. It's very cute. It's definitely what you imagine they were thinking when they made the song originally. And so I absolutely love it. And I will say it's a good version. However, the best version I think is still the version from 8-Bit Big Band. It's awesome. It's so cool. Look it up. Very good redone version of that song. Hey, in the games industry, Embracer Group, once again, still a complete mess. They bought so many brands and franchises and don't know what to do with it. And now the Lord of the Rings group is being rebranded and they're trying to come up with a bunch of different stuff over there. Yeah. It was called Middle Earth and Friends, but it'll now be known as Fellowship Entertainment and handle such IP as Lord of the Rings, Kingdom Come Deliverance, Metro, Dead Island, Killing Floor, Darksiders, Tomb Raider, and more. So,
wait, what?
Okay.
What Fellowship of Friends? What
Middle Earth and Friends will now be known as Fellowship Entertainment. What is under the Embracer Group umbrella? What is so hard to understand about that, Criken?
Okay, and they own all that IP now.
Oh, they have for a while. They just don't know what to do with it.
Okay.
They just it definitely feels like in Hollywood they do this a lot, where if something's popular, they'll just buy the rights to it.
Just buy it.
Right.
And they may never do anything with it. And Embracer Group was kind of the same. Every time during the big sort of COVID collapse, they went around and bought up everything. They bought up all the Western stuff from Square Enix. They bought up like a bunch of European companies. They definitely pulled a we want to be like Xbox, except not. And so yeah, they aren't making anything. Like they bought Deus Ex and then killed it. And I'm like, all I wanted was a conclusion to Adam Jensen's story. Why you gotta be like this? Yeah. So
I hate capitalism.
Yeah, Embracer Group for a brief moment in 2022-ish. I was like, oh God, they're gonna save everything. This is so cool. I'm so excited. And then they immediately failed. So who knows what'll happen? But I'm hoping they fix whatever the hell's going on that ship, and we go on from there. Also, I guess back in the same movie verse, we have a whole new set of Mortal Kombat movies coming. But now,
really?
Yeah, I guess the last one did well enough that they're making another. But more importantly, Mortal Kombat's longtime competition in the world of nerds has always been Street Fighter. It's always Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. Well, if you're gonna have Mortal Kombat movies, you better have a Street Fighter movie. And so it looks like Jason Momoa and Roman Reigns of wrestling fame are tapped for a Street Fighter movie adaptation.
Okay.
I don't know what the hell that's going to be or who the hell they're going to play, but it looks like it's coming. And we're going to I have no clue what this is going to be. I couldn't even tell you. But after 4 weekends of a Minecraft movie making $816 million at the global box office, I guess people are starting to look at movies and say, oh, well, let's just take video games and make them a thing. This plus Mario have been huge. And yeah, we'll see. I do not know. I don't know what the plot would be. I don't know who the villain would be. I mean, I guess it would be M. Bison. Kind of, I want to see a Jason Momoa M. Bison, but I don't know what that would even look like. No clue what that would be. But shout out to them trying to get a Street Fighter movie done. Capcom is involved in some way, and so we'll see what that ends up being. Hey, everyone remember the PlayStation loyalty program, the Stars program? If you don't, don't worry. They've already killed it off.
Nice.
All right.
It was a thing where
one thing I don't have to retain in my memory.
Yes.
Great.
It was a thing where you had an app on your phone, and every time you did anything on PlayStation, be buy a game, play a game, whatever, you could unlock points and stars, and you could use those to buy in-game things. You could use it to buy games. You could collect little statues to display in a display case on your app for whatever reason. And yeah, it would be like, oh, if you want this statue, you got to play this game for 20 minutes or whatever. Very similar to what Discord is doing now down the corner, where it's like, watch this video or play this game and you get a little thing. Same premise. And then at some point last year, the app just stopped working one day. And then they sent out a letter like, oh, we're redoing the app. And then I don't think they ever actually redid it. And then now they've confirmed it's dead. So
Okay.
another thing that was a terrible idea is now gone. So very cool. Goodbye, Stars loyalty program.
It sucks because I like the idea of if you're playing a lot of our games, you accrue something that lets you buy a game or like get a game for free occasionally, but yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
Huff? That's huff.
That's
That's
huff,
huff.
dude. So huff.
That's so huff.
Speaking of huff, things might get not very huff in Lies of P because, hey, the game is now going to offer difficulty settings, 3 different levels
Oh wow.
for a base game and the expansion that's coming down the road. I believe it's Lies of P Overture. I think that's getting introduced to the new options. So if people are curious and they're like, why? Essentially, they're like, we want a wider audience to play the game. And I get it. Yeah. Good on them. They're allowed to. For people like, it's gonna ruin the game. Then don't change the settings. Anyway.
It's also their game, and I think they have the right to make changes if they'd like. It's not gonna ruin anything.
The DLC, the expansion's gonna allow you to go back and replay old bosses. There's gonna be a boss rush mode. There's gonna be all sorts of different things added to it. So that should be very, very fun. And also, I guess the bosses are tier based. So you have to unlock the different tiers to fight the harder and harder bosses in the boss rush. So I think that's pretty fun.
I can't say enough good things about Lies of P. I thought that game was so good.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a very having not played it but watched Octo play it. Great game. Very cool. I'm not a big throw myself against a boss until I beat it kind of guy. I'm a power level and go kill everyone because I spent 20 hours grinding a guy named like Thug 1.
I mean, like,
And his whole extended family of
Right.
like Lies of P, it has that like weird punishing gameplay loop like Dark Souls does, but they really did put a lot of work into like the characters and the story and all of that. And if you want to experience that, it sucks that you have to just put yourself through hell. Not every game has to be just a punishing hellscape. Like they want people to experience the other aspects of the game that they put a lot of work into.
Yeah. It's beautiful. It is a genuinely very interesting game. Some of the best speedruns I've ever seen are people who play that game because the amount of stuff you can just not do is hilarious. The amount of times you just watch a guy just run by everything. It's like, I don't even have to open that. You climb up here and you jump off this wall and you're on the other side. So like, what are you even doing? I'm just like, yeah, this is cool as shit. I love a good speed run. I'm actually very excited for whoever does the speed run of Expedition 33 because I imagine that would be incredible.
Yes.
I was going to ask about if the speedrun for Blueprints, because I think that is also going to be crazy.
I've seen people already post their day one. Like on day one, they beat the game.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I think
If
beating is get to room
everything lines
46, but like beating, yeah.
Dang.
I don't know how
Dang,
you
right.
like. You would have to be very good at knowing exactly what to place where and when, because there's sometimes clearly just making a wrong decision locks you out and you're done. So getting a day one, that's a skill level I don't have. My brain don't work like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Then speaking of sequels, Cyberpunk 2077 is getting a sequel apparently set in future Chicago. So that'll be a thing. Don't know what that's going to be like, but I hope they do events in Chicago so I can convince Crendor to leave his home.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
So that'll be cool. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea what they call the Chicago version of Night City. Probably like
Windy Night City.
Well, it can't be. It has to be something, but it has to be like dystopian, like
Sure.
like Portillo's presents the Windy City. Like something really crappy like that.
Yeah.
Also, Stellar Blade 2 is coming. We're going to get a Stellar Blade sequel, it looks like, sooner than expected. Apparently, they're looking for a real fast turnaround, so I don't imagine, like, a updated graphical powerhouse, but I don't think that's what people are playing anyway, so expect that to come down the pipeline as well. And then, obviously, in releases, Doom came out and blew up. selling very, very well. And Famitsu gave Expedition 33 9s across the board, which is very, very high for a non-JRPG. And in the world of video game people who just amaze me to no end, first off, we have good old Randy Pitchford coming through saying that real fans will find a way to buy Borderlands 4 at $80 when asked if the price was too high. Just a truly bad response. just not the smartest thing to say. But it is ironically what you would expect.
Yeah.
Randy definitely does have a way with words. And so that is, a thing.
I like that he could have or whoever commented on that could have very easily been like, look, we're not in control of market value. Like, there are other people that this game is worth,
Yes.
But instead he's like, are you a real fan or not, idiot?
I think the thing that needs to be said here is, and we've talked about this before, and I find it fascinating. So his full quote is, if you're a real fan, you'll find a way to make it happen. My local game store had Starflight for Sega Genesis for $80 in 1991 when I was just out of high school working minimum wage in an ice cream parlor in Pismo Beach, and I found a way to make it happen. So absolutely, I'm on the same page of when I was a kid, games were very expensive, and I understand that. And if I really wanted a game, I would buy it. Like, I get mentally where he's at, but it's such a different world that I think people have completely forgotten that, yes, absolutely, when it was 1994 and I wanted to go play like a new Super Nintendo game, I clearly couldn't afford it. When I was young, my parents got me 2 games a year, birthday and Christmas. That was it.
Yep.
But I was like, I played so many games, though. I had access to so many games. The reason why is because I had Blockbuster Video, and I would literally go to Blockbuster and rent games every weekend.
Yeah, the games that you bought were an investment that you knew you were going to spend a lot of time on.
Yeah, they were games like Final Fantasy VI. They were games like one Christmas, my parents got me the Super Scope, and all the games that came for free with the Super Scope. I don't know what other games came with it because I only ever played the games that came with the Super Scope. But there were games that then you could get at Blockbuster that you could play with it. Like that guy, 90% of what I played came from rentals. And I think that's the difference, is there's nothing like that right now, really. There are a few things similar, but there's not really anything like that. And so, yeah, games were expensive, but you had ways to play them. And now there aren't ways to do that. And you're asking like, well, if you want to play it, this is how you have to play it. Now, you can't rent Borderlands 4 anywhere. And so it's a entirely different place. And to be like, hey man, if you want it, you'll get it. Yeah, well, if it was 1991, yeah, sure. Yes, that's the vibe. Now, you might want it, but you just like, I don't know. It's a weird, it's definitely a, I'm not living in the current 2025 as everyone else vibe.
Sure. Yeah, I guess the closest version is Game Pass, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Yeah.
Of like what we used to be able to do.
Yeah, but you're locked in with that. You're locked into one console, Like, sure, you can get PC Game Pass, which I highly recommend. It's great. But you're kind of locked in, right? If you want to play a game that's coming on PlayStation, good luck. Unless you have PS Plus Expert Pro Premium or whatever the hell they have. Yeah, it kind of sucks because back in the day, you would, all right, I got the console. I can just go rent games for it. Like when I had a PlayStation.
Or even rent the console.
Yeah.
You could rent consoles back in the day.
Yep. I rented. The reason why I learned the whatever that was, the Game Boy VR, whatever that one, the VR Boy, whatever that was called.
Virtual Boy?
Virtual Boy.
Virtual Boy, yeah.
The reason I realized it sucked complete ass is because I rented it from Blockbuster, tried it for a weekend, and was like, it's unlookatable. It hurts your eyes. Everything sucks in it. You have to set it down on tables and hunch over to play. I was like, nah, this is terrible. Otherwise, I could have been one of those idiots who bought one. And so, it was that kind of thing where if you have access to being able to try it out and rent it, it really does wonders, especially for a kid. Because most of the time when you play games, especially as a kid, it's like a day. You're playing it for a little bit and then you get bored and you move on. And as a parent, I can imagine being like, I bought you so many games. What the hell? And it isn't until when I had a PlayStation, the only game I owned for a long time was Final Fantasy VII, the reason I bought a PlayStation. And after that, I rented everything else.
I borrowed my cousin's Sega Genesis, and she let me take 2 games. And I was like, I'm on top of the world, baby. This is great.
And especially since back in the day, a lot of the Super Nintendo games, like I remember renting Super Star Wars. F that game. I don't think I got past the first level. That game can kiss my whole ass. And that's good lesson learned. I can't imagine buying it and hating it. Like there are only so many games where, I really want to have that game so I can keep playing it over. Like Super Mario World, perfect replayable game. And it came with the damn thing. So, whatever. That's where we're at. Welcome to the games industry. And then finally, an interesting article over on speaking of games industry, gamesindustry.biz about, again, another infamous character in the gaming world, Peter Molyneux, about the game Milo and Kate, which, if you remember, was this thing that he was working on that was going to redefine what the Kinect was. And apparently at the Nordic Games Conference, he was recently asked in a Q&A about that. And he regaled the crowd with this story about the first time that he tried to Kinect and how it was actually way better than what actually released. And he said, what do I think? Well, I said, firstly, when he did the demo, he was jumping all over the room and he said, I'm a gamer. I don't want to play games standing up, Molyneux recalled. That's the first thing. It doesn't appeal to me. I want to sit back. I want to smoke what I smoke. I want to drink what I drink. And I don't want to prance around like a twat is what he said.
Oh my God.
Okay.
He wanted to make a game where you talk with someone. Anyone who's a parent will probably experience this, he explained. There's a moment where you realize you're crafting, inspiring a human being. Wouldn't it be incredible to do the same thing in a game around that feeling? Wouldn't it be incredible to create an experience around that? About inspiring, in Milo's case, a boy. That was contentious in itself because, of course, lots of people go dark with that idea. Anyway, he started working on this, and I guess the Kinect they showed him was eventually downgraded because he said the one they were going to originally have was like $5,000. And he's like, so they clearly downgraded it, which made the project we were working on completely obsolete because the window of what the field of view of the camera was shrunk dramatically. And so there's nothing to do. And he's like, yeah, that's kind of what happened. And he said the death knell for Project Milo, in his eyes, was that Microsoft decided to market the Kinect as a party device rather than a gaming device, a thing he absolutely hated. He did not like the idea of, I assume, the Star Wars dance game. He was not thrilled.
Yeah. Wait,
my favorite
was that the same conference that he revealed Project Milo and the Star Wars dance game happened the same year?
Maybe?
Because that would be crazy.
That's hilarious.
If he,
that's the case.
Was followed by the Star Wars dance moment. Oh man, Peter Molyneux is such a fascinating character, and I know he's controversial, but there's something about the way he describes seeing the world, whether you believe it or not, that I find so enrapturing. And even if I can suspend disbelief long enough to see the vision he's pitching, I think is so interesting because
yeah.
I mean, what he's describing is a thing that there is no demand for in the our world, but in his world, this is the apex art form.
He is
even just for a moment, he can convince you that you want it too, and you're
yes. He is a very good salesman.
A little virtual Milo.
Yeah, he's a very good salesman. He's a great pitcher. He has a lot of ideas. And I think it's fascinating because there are other people who have ideas and they can execute those ideas. I don't know that he can. I think his ideas are so out there that they may in fact be impossible to execute properly. Looking at all his games catalog and everything he's doing, you can see that conceptually, he can 100% sell you on the idea. Because everything he's making, I'm like, all right, yeah, I'd like to see what that would look like. But the idea of creating them, I'm like, there's no way, dude. I don't know how you could make this. And it's interesting because you see people like Kojima who are like, I want to make a game about connections. And you're like, okay, what's the game? You walk carrying mail. Oh, so like the movie The Postman that flopped? Like that, but there's goop monsters. And the bad guy is an incel. And you're like, what? What are we doing? And he's like, I'm going to make it. I'm going to fund the whole thing. Let's get crazy. And then it comes out and you're like, he definitely did this. And yeah, it's a game, all right. And that's fascinating to me. Because at the same time, while I think Death Stranding is somehow completely boring and yet completely beautiful and stunning. And it's like, I just don't know how to describe it. And I feel like that's where Molyneux's angling for. He's like, yeah, it's going to be a boring experience, but it'll be like stunning that it exists.
Yeah.
I don't know, but that's we got some answers on that. And that is the news.
I appreciate that there were answers and he seemed candid about it. And I do believe, for the record, that like seeing a early prototype of technology and then building an experience around that and then having that downgraded would absolutely, put a project at the knees. So
yeah,
I don't think he's bullshitting on that part. But whether or not it was, I don't know, the whole concept of the Project Milo was always weird to begin with.
Yes.
I don't know.
I think him saying people would get dark with it is an understatement. When we got footage of that, everyone was creeped out. Everyone.
Yeah.
People are like, what? It's you and a little boy? This isn't right. And I know where he came. He came from a place of like genuine, like, what if you could connect with a child and raise that child and you could do it in a game? And I get it. Super creepy. So it's
very
the same,
creepy.
It's the same thoughts I had when they showed off the Nintendo Switch 2 camera system and streaming. Like, you can call your friends you're playing with. I'm like, that's going to get creepy real quick. But then they're like, but you have to log in. You have to show your name. And I was like, okay, well, that's good. And they're like, but not for the first year. And I was like, all right, never mind. Got a year of creeps. It's going to be the launch year for Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be a bunch of creeps. So there you go. Yep. Good stuff. But that's the news.
Hot dog.
Mm-hmm. What are you up to this week, you two crazy kids?
What are you up to this week, buddy?
I'm going to a festival tomorrow. Hanging out with my sister and cousin while I'm in the UK. Going to visit Stockholm. We're going to visit Raw Fury Dev there.
Cool.
Going to TwitchCon EU. Meeting up with friends there. And then I'm bouncing back to the US finally. It's been like it'll be like almost a 3-week trip that I've been gone. So
awesome.
I miss games, I'll be honest. I kind of miss streaming and stuff. So
now, can I ask you a question? Yeah. Why haven't you delved into the world of, I went on this trek and I'm going to stream all of it?
I've done a couple IRL streams, but I'm still kind of getting my feet wet with them, I feel like, and I want to make sure that I'm able to do it in a way that's never imposing on people I'm around. I'm very careful about being like respectful and not coming across as like, ignorant American foreigner that's like shoving camera in your face.
Yeah. You're a good person, is what you're saying?
I try to be.
Right.
I really want to. I think there's something beautiful though about like going somewhere new and then finding it with an audience or with people that are kind of along for the ride and kind of see your genuine reaction to stuff. Like, I was in Brighton. I did an IRL stream in Brighton a couple days ago, and we went into this like festival area, and the security is checking everyone's bags, and so I had my streaming backpack that I was going in. Like, we gotta check in there, and he was checking in, and I forgot that I had left in there these little like. I like going into like thrift stores and finding weird little things to collect, and so this guy sees these like brown wrapped like firm objects, and he's like, "What's this then, mate?" And I'm like, "Oh, those are tiny porcelain monks." And he's like, "Huh?" And he was like, "Yeah, be careful with them. Make sure they don't get broken." And he's like, "Go on in." He just believed me because he's like, "What?" And there's no way this guy's gonna lie. He's like carrying
a very strange lie.
Yeah. And they were tiny porcelain monks, and I could have proved it to him.
Although I bet somewhere someone's like, porcelain monks? Yeah, that's drugs.
Yeah.
Tiny, that's just tiny porcelain monks, dude. Oh, that's the new street drug, porcelain monks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It was fun though. Like moments like that happen to me all the time, but I forgot, like I was just happened to be streaming at the time, and so everyone watching was like, "Hello, like, what do you mean this just happens to you?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, this is very par for the course." So it's kind of fun to like be able to kind of be who you are outside of the screen, and have like viewers along for the ride that can just kind of get to know like you in a different environment. So
Yeah.
I've been trying to get more used to that, but I need to figure out how to do it reliably in a way that isn't imposing on anyone. So
Jesse, do you know the like selfie sticks that get edited out in the video?
Yes.
He had never seen them before. I got to show him his first weird video of a blurred hand.
yeah, and I have long arms, so I can just hold it way far out of the way. It would look so eerie.
I
It's
always
all like 0.5.
Yeah, I never understand. I really respect the whole backpack camera situation, but after a while, the whole selfie stick thing, I'm like, nah, that's for the birds. I don't. That seems like a hassle. I don't like that. It's too much. There's got to be a way to do it that's more fun. But I also think the idea of walking around streaming with a cameraman is also very intrusive on everyone else's day. Like that always annoys me because there's like, I got 15 people, we're filming. It's like, yeah, people got stuff to do, man. Like the world isn't your bedroom. I don't know, especially considering most real filming you need permits for and things. So I don't know, but I always get weirded out when I'm like, you're someplace where the whole point is to be respectful, and you're like, hey there, chat, what's up? It's me broadcasting live from Westminster. It's crazy in here. Look at all these dead people. Can you believe it? Right now I'm being narrated to by Jeremy Irons. It's awesome. Like poggers in the chat for the dead king. Sucks.
It's exactly like that. Yeah. I've seen that exact video.
Dukes, what are you up to?
I'm retaking my immigration test. Womp womp. It's hard, man.
What'd you get the first time around?
I don't know, because all they do is they send you an email that says fail in all caps.
Whoa.
So I have no idea how many I failed. But I know what areas of history I'm really dicey on now. So I've been just trying to study those sections really well and get the timeline right so that even if I forget a section, I can at least be like, wait, that happened between this event and this event, so it couldn't have been this date. You know, if I'm able to sort of for myself, I think that would be really helpful instead of knowing things sort of like as like standalone things. If I can imagine a timeline.
Sure.
But
Pop quiz.
It's rough. It's a very hard test.
Pop quiz. How many years was the 100-Year War?
116.
My girl. There you go.
Wow.
Hell yes.
Yeah!
Get that. Don't fall for that. All right. Hell yes. I love this. You know what's up.
Yeah, I'm learning stuff.
Awesome.
So yes, I will do my best. Wish me luck. It's a rough test. If at some point you or someone you love has to do this test, just really take your time with each section of history and make sure that you've got it all down. Because when you're going through the booklet, you're like, this booklet actually isn't that long considering how much it has in there. But they really quiz you on literally anything in those 100 pages. It's wild.
What year was the Magna Carta?
1215.
What powers did it give?
The Magna Carta was about limiting what the king could do.
Number of
I even
members.
gave it as a trick question and you got it right. Oh, I'm so happy. Yeah, all right. Hell yeah. How you failed, I don't know.
What was your question?
Number of members of Scottish Parliament.
192.
92? I thought it was 32.
What?
I thought it was 32. 132.
132? I think it's 192.
92?
Oh shit.
There we go.
Maybe that's why you failed.
Maybe. That's the question. They were like, no, 100% or nothing, dude. If you're not first, you're last.
Name three places in the Commonwealth.
129. It's 129.
That's why you failed?
129, shit.
Well, now you know.
Wait, 129?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I got the numbies mixed up. The Commonwealth is the Falkland Islands and Canada.
Give me one more.
And oh my gosh. I don't know.
Does Australia still count?
Is Australia part of the Commonwealth? I have no idea.
I thought it was. Jesse, you just
Chad already
He's hoping someone else will.
spoiled the New
I said
Zealand
yes,
and Australia.
It is Australia.
There we go. Trinidad is the one I was trying to
Oh,
remember.
wait, Trinidad.
That's
wow.
so funny.
Oh, Chad already did Australia and New Zealand. But yeah, I mean, just like all you got to do is go look at the Commonwealth Games. You can pretty easily figure it out.
Oh my gosh,
right.
one of the questions that he quizzed me on earlier was like, what was it? In 1921, what games happened? And it was like the Paralympics, the Commonwealth Games,
And
the
Euro 2012.
Euro. It was like I don't know, dude. It's rough.
It was Paralympics.
It was the Paralympics,
Yeah.
by the way. Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna do my best. So wish me luck, etc. Other than that, still gonna be playing some Black Reliquary. I'm trying to also finish up Proverbs because I never finished that. It's that Minesweeper like game where you're making a beautiful painting. And yeah, maybe we'll start a new thing this week. I don't know.
Cool. Over in Cox Towers, we are playing the game Midnight Walk, which is very cool. If you have not seen it or know nothing about it, imagine a first-person Nightmare Before Christmas game. Everything is claymation. It looks so cool.
Oh.
It is creepy as hell, and I cannot stress it enough. Badass game.
Beautiful.
Yes,
I need to look that up.
it's very cool. There's also a few other games that have midnight in the title. And so
You were talking about that last week.
yeah, but Midnight Walk is the one that we're currently playing, and it is it's like standard horror game. You're doing horror things, but visually, good God, it is very, very beautiful to look at. And even the characters in it definitely have a like, oh, you're just the mayor from Halloween Town. Like, I know you, sir. It's neat
Right.
stuff. Yeah.
Cute.
But that's it for me, and that is it for us. Thanks so much for hanging out. Thanks to both Criken and Dukes for taking the time to boot Sam out of his office for a little bit.
Bro, thanks for saving my butt.
That's what I'm here for.
Running the show.
I like
Appreciate
saving
you.
butts. I'm like Superman, but for anus.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the
Get that
show.
on a
Thanks so
pillow.
much. We'll see y'all next time. Bye, everybody.
guys.
Yeah, you know what time it is. It's time for the Geekenders podcast. MegaRan, Jesse and Dodger, what up? Let's go. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow and see what the Geekenders are all about. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow. #1 geek podcast, without a doubt. Yo, another end of another long week. Got a job and a kid, I know that you all beat. So take a second, grab a drink and vibe while we catch you up in just a matter of time. On gaming, comics, whatever you're doing. If you're nerdy like us, then you know you should tune in. Thank you for sharing our world with us. Now follow, subscribe, and turn this up. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow. #1 geek podcast, without a doubt.